Welcome back to 2022 format. Yay! Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm G2s here. Today we are back to cover on Diablo's Violence Bruce. It has seemed like a very long while since I've talked about Bruce on the channel, but today, as you can probably guess, I am unable to afford this deck, so today we have Fader Forth.
You do realize it's a budget deck, right?
It is not.
You do realize I bought this deck for $50.
Okay, I do not have such money. So yes, today we are here to talk about Violence Bruce. This is of course the Grade 3 combat version based around. And also we are playing some of the new support, including Julian, who completely re-innovates the way that Bruce can play because you now have a turn 3 final rush. It's actually really quite insane, to be honest. Last time we talked about speeding up turns, it was with Jared. For those of you who have forgotten, that video is really old. And then of course, yeah, we are now here. So let's see how long we can actually go talking about this deck without bringing up a certain individual. But very frankly, he still is very good, and so is this deck, to be honest. We've completely not touched any of the unrivaled support in terms of building this. This is more of a lean Grade 3 kind of deck, and I'm glad to say it still works. It's definitely more on the cheaper side, if you ask me, because you only need a few critical format warping staples, and you know, it works pretty well. And it's a bit less fragile compared to Grade 4 Bruce, because for the Grade 4 Bruce, you need to actually see the Grade 4 Bruce, whereas for this one, you already have it. So, as in you already have a Bruce Vanguard you can work with. So today we're gonna go through this deck. It is very similar yet very different in terms of the cards that you will see inside, and hopefully we hope that you will be able to actually win some tournaments with this deck, because yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Our right deck consists of, you know, Matt, Steve, Richard, and Bruce. It's the same right deck. Nothing has changed really. I'm gonna go through all of them really quick before I hand it over to talk about the Grade 3s. This is obviously Matt. Matt is our starter. He's not an intern. This is Steve. Steve's skill is, when placed on a Vanguard circle, choose a card from your soul and call it, and then you soul charge 1. When you ride him, you obviously have no one else in your soul besides Matt. So he's gonna come up to the rear guard. And continuous, as long as you can find a rush, he gains 5k on the rear guard. Honestly, not applicable at all, but there are some cases where you run out of Grade 1 targets in the soul, so you end up calling him, so it's not that bad. So just keep in mind that that's what he can do.
It actually is sort of important for later.
Because of the 13k.
But it's because like we actually can call cards from soul as early as turn 3.
Yep, with Julian, of course. So yes, he is still a decent target. I'm saying if you have no other Grade 1s, you would go into him.
Especially since if he can stick around on the board, it's still a 13k booster. So yeah, you know, that's always good.
He does well. This of course is Richard. Richard, when placed on Vanguard Circle, move one of your rear guards.
So it's when roll upon Steve.
Yeah, when he rides.
Yeah. So when you ride on top of Steve, you get to put one of your rear guards into soul and you draw. So it doesn't have to be Matt, but you can put anything into soul. But I mean, obviously, he's a vanilla, so you might as well just put him back. Yes. He's meant to be put in the soul.
Alright, and then of course you have Bruce.
Yes. So Bruce, you know, I mean, I think everyone knows at this point, you know, it's been 6 sets of seeing this piece of shit already. So it's when he is at the start of your right phase, if he's on your Vanguard circle, you are now in final rush. He is in final rush, you are in final rush.
You are in final rush.
Yeah, so you can run down to the nearest 7-Eleven and buy some drinks, I don't know. But when you come back, you know, when he attacks, you saw +5. If you're in final rush, you get to stand your front row rear guard. So no, you cannot stand your Vanguard, you know, because we don't have money for the Grade 4.
You don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need it. You genuinely don't need it. You know, this card is still alive, even though almost every other start deck Grade 3 besides Balsagra, because you know it doesn't have a Grade 4, is already passed on.
Not true. Magnolia Grade 3 Inlet Pulse with the Dbt07 support is format warping. I am from the future.
Yeah, we are indeed from the future. But if you want to live in the present, you know, you can always just play Grade 3 Bruce.
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, very simple skill. He has survived this long purely because of how strong this skill is.
And also because of...
Yes.
Yes.
But, you know, I mean, the thing is that there are a lot of ways you can build Grade 3 Bruce, and there's also still a lot of ways you can build Grade 4 Bruce. So
it's really fun.
The build that we're showing you today is just one variation of it, which want to capitalize on Julian and Dao shall not be named.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's pretty much it, yeah.
Without further ado, let us move on to the meat of this potato.
the grade 3s, for our grade 3s, we are playing 3 copies of Bruce in a right deck, and then we play 1 in a main deck. We play 4 copies of Diablo's Diver Julian. What a nice name.
Yeah.
Julian.
I actually really like the name.
I like the name. And then we play 3 copies of this is Pandemonium Tactics. Okay, so take it away.
I'll go through Pandemonium first. I think this is the one that most people are used to. I mean, you've seen it in a lot of Dark States or Dark Zone premium decks for various reasons. Mainly the first reason is because it's when played, you're paying for Counterblast 1 to play this card. Soul Charge 4.
Yes.
Soul Charge 4.
Yes.
And then if you are in Final Rush, so it
Yes.
means turn 4 onwards,
Turn
if
4
you're on
onwards.
Bruce, you get to activate all the following effects. If you have 6 or more soul, you draw a card.
Yes.
If you are at 8 or more soul, your whole front row gains 10k.
12 or more soul, he gets a crit.
Yeah.
Your Vanguard gets a crit.
So that the 12 or more soul, like, you're generally never going to hit.
And if you're hitting the 12 soul, you have a problem.
Yeah, you're probably gonna
you have a problem.
No, but it's mainly for grade 4 Bruce. I think they were
Yeah.
thinking about this in advance because in grade 4 Bruce, you can't actually hit 12 soul very easily.
You should, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say for grade 3 Bruce, you should be ideally looking for the first and second skill, both of which are pretty good.
Yeah,
The
because
third skill is a bit
in
questionable.
terms of
if you have so
economy,
much soul.
you will be at 4 soul when you are on your first turn 4 turn.
Yes.
No, on turn 4 you should be at 4 soul because Matt,
Minimally.
Matt and Steve will give you 2 soul.
Yeah.
Then Richard is one soul. Your
Yeah.
starter is another soul. So you
Yeah.
have 4 soul underneath Bruce. So you
Yeah.
use one Pandemonium, you're at 8 soul. You
soul.
get
They
the
give you
first 2 effects
first effects done,
instantaneously.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't use this card on turn 3 as much as it's a grade 3 card. You should try and use it for strictly the final rush turn and onwards. So this is essentially a turn 4 card and up. Because you really just want to use the whole skill in its entirety, including the final rush ability.
I mean, the only interaction is that if you want to use Julian early, but you don't want to call the right deck cards, you can technically
Try
use this
Soul
early.
Charge,
If
blanket
you have
Soul
that,
Charge,
if you
yeah.
want to use that must CB just to blank the effect,
Yeah.
and so that you can get better cards like Daho shall not be named,
wait,
Total
but
Ball.
if I soul charge my OT?
Oh, don't worry, we have ways to get
We
it.
have ways to get back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ways
we
to
have ways to
get
get
it.
back.
I think most
But
people
I
know.
would say this is definitely a turn 4 card.
And speaking of cards that are turn 4, what about turn 3 cards? So we have Diablo's Diver Julian.
Yes.
So Julian's ability is once per turn when he attacks. If your Vanguard is a Bruce, it
Vanguard.
can be a grade 3 Bruce. It can be unrivaled.
Yep.
You get to for every 2 cards in your damage zone, he gains. No, for every card in your damage zone, he gains
Soul
2k.
charge 1.
It's that's against the power. So he gains 2k for every card in your damage zone, and for every 2 damage that you have,
Soul charge 1.
you Counterblast 1. You draw so the Counterblast 1 is together with the power. So you Counterblast 1 to gain the power for the every damage.
So that means it's just when he attacks, Counterblast 1, he gains 2 for
Every damage. And then for every 2 damage that you have,
you soul charge
you soul
1.
charge 1 and you call 1 from your soul.
Yes.
So
So
you
it's
know.
every intervals of 2 in terms of the soul charge and calling cards. The plus 2k is just in general, he just gets 2 for every card.
Yeah, and then if I'm not wrong, the 2k is only until the end of the battle, if I'm not mistaken. So when he restands, he will not have the power boost from the damage, but he will still have already helped you build board, so it's pretty good. For turn 3, your main target support.
No, the 2k is end on the turn.
Oh, okay, so the
2K end on the
2k
turn.
will
So
last even when he
For
restands.
every 2 cards in your damage zone, you
Yeah,
soul
but
charge 1.
remember this is a once
and
per
you call
turn.
them to open rear guard
Yeah.
circles.
Yeah, so open regular circle.
Has
So
to be
it's,
open.
yeah, so as that I mean, but Dao shall not be named has already taught us that open regular circles mean nothing in this deck. We can clear circles very easily.
Yeah, you're supposed
And-
to play circles very easily.
So on turn 3, your target is mainly for this skill. It's gonna be these 3 people, these 3 clowns. So
But if you soul charge something better,
but
you can
on turn 3, of course, they're gonna be completely useless. So
yeah,
he's a vanilla. He's he was always gonna be a vanilla.
If you
So
soul charge something like, say, a Dober, or even something like, say, your Derek, it does help. So
Yeah.
You can be assured that as long as you soul charge, say, 1 to 2 normal cards, you don't have to call the right deck people, but there
It's
is
very
a chance.
flexible.
Yeah, there is a chance.
So Julian basically lets you toolbox your entire soul into open regular circle. But
Yep.
if you want to go early and save cards in your hand, then you mainly only have to work with these 3. So recommendation is that you would go for Richard because it's a great tool. If
Yeah.
anything, he converts into an intercept
Yes.
as well as another attack. But if you're thinking long game, you can actually call Steve behind your Vanguard.
because it
so
comes
that
to
you can-
13k booster.
Yeah, because it comes to 13 booster later in the game as well as also helps your grade 3 Bruce on first grade 3 turn hit for bigger numbers, so you ask for more shield. Because the usual mentality about Bruce is that, oh, I guard early and then I take when you start getting into final rush.
And then he dies.
Yeah, but if you can make it so Julian already hits for 17 if you're 2 damage. So 17 against a opponent's grade 2.
No, 3 damage.
No, 2.
2 damage.
So 2 damage. Usually you want to be a 2 damage because you know
2 damage.
I mean if you're 4 damage, you gotta start
limit break.
You gotta start asking yourself questions like, why am I dying so quickly?
Limit break.
So it's a 10k guard on its own against a grade 2 Vanguard, and it will be a 5. I mean just a 5k guard, but it's the 17 is still a good number. They had if you call the Steve behind Bruce, you call Steve behind him, it can hit for a 10k guard. Or if your opponent is feeling risky, no pass, you rip 30k shield from the hand. That's one front trigger with the shield front and then another card. So that's technically good because the more shield you rip out of them early, and the less shield that they have when it actually matters, because you have on hits, you have things that require CB, you have a lot of power suddenly all of a sudden once you hit final rush. So when you can rip shield out of the hand early, it's good to make it count.
Yes. And last but not least,
then of course Julian, obviously he gets a lot better when you get into final rush turn because he hits a lot harder. You can empty your circles a lot easier, so he just
gets better.
Insane amount of multi attack once you get to later stages in the game. But if you're asking me why would you play this in grade 4 Bruce?
Yes.
It's debatable. Mainly it's because you don't have that much CB in grade 4 Bruce.
True.
Yeah, you go through your CV like really, really, really fast in grade 4 Bruce. So it's up to you because you have to use your Lyle, you have to use your Brian for your soul, you use your Pandemonium, you have to use and of course grade 4 Bruce needs a CB now.
Yeah.
So Julian is very, very highly contested for that CB that he uses is highly contested. And as well as also Bruce, grade 4 Bruce doesn't use that many cards that clear front row.
Yeah, he does not.
So it's very, very limited as to the amount that he can do on a grade 4 Bruce turn compared to a grade 3 Bruce turn.
Grade 3 Bruce is a lot more flexible and opens more circles, so
yeah,
it's essentially a bit better when it comes to that deck.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we obviously play 4 copies of Bruce, 3 in the main deck, because the Persona Right is just really good. If you're playing a deck focused on grade 3s and you have the spots, you might as well just do it, because Persona Right, especially in a 5 attack deck plus it's more than 5. Yeah, you will kill.
Yeah, then of course, combined with Pandemonium, your whole entire front row is getting 20. And I know in the past we did say that order Bruce is kind of cringe because you're clearing your front row anyways. Why would you bother?
But I mean that was with a different order. That was with Hellblast Full Dive.
No, I mean Pandemonium is just Hellblast Full Dive, but
but
it gives you more soul.
We've never done Hellblast Full Dive.
No, I mean the Pandemonium.
Pandemonium. We've never done Pandemonium.
Yeah, but Hellblast Full Dive, like we said in the past, it is subjective because in the past we did agree that giving power to the units that are going to go into soul anyways, then you're losing the power. So the Persona Right is more important to prioritize. So using both now, you're breaking your hand.
Yeah.
But grade 4 Bruce, grade 3 Bruce now, the mentality has always been the same. Tank a lot of damage early, and then once you go into the final rush, you push them back even harder.
Yeah.
So instead of playing super defensively, we play Jared, try and push damage early, save some cards in hand. You use Portal Ball to do and sneaky link your OT back to hand.
Yep.
Now you just rather just go full aggro and just kill your opponent using as much power as you possibly can, because the numbers that this deck can hit is insultingly high.
Yep, and this is a format with 5k shields. So
yes.
Do remember to pay your millions of yen for your effect triggers, because we certainly won't.
Yes.
Moving on to our grade 2s. Our grade 2s, we play Richard, one for the right deck, and then we play 4 and for Derek. So yeah, this is obviously for the right deck. We've talked more than enough about him in conjunction with Julian.
As for him,
yes.
I think most people do remember him from our previous video. We had a 9-minute segment just for him. But if you really want to know what does, when he attacks, if you're in final rush, he gains 5k and he targets the entire column of the unit that is being attacked.
Yes.
So let's say you have 2 units in the same column. Let's say you have 2 units in the same column.
So let's say you have 2 units in
the
the same
column.
If Julian is attacking the opponent,
when attack, these 2 units will then use the units are targeted and then they will die. And you're wondering, oh my god, why does that even matter in a deck that's not Dragon Empire? Well, has the skill that every time that his attack hits, if your Vanguard is Diablos, Violence, Bruce.
The Great Tree. Strictly
Yes,
the
only
Great
the Great Tree.
Only the Great Tree.
You soul blast. You soul charge 1. You choose 1 card from your soul and you call it.
Yep.
Into open rearguard circle. So you know this was the reason why Great Tree Bruce was so threatening back in DBT02.
Was?
I mean yeah, because before Julian, you know, the format did get a lot faster, and then also, you know, pure light, you know, sucks the soul out of Bruce literally. So
True.
So, you know, it did slow down a bit. But now that pure light is slowing, pure light is getting more and more ways to actually figure out how to fight pure light. You know, this deck is just so much faster in terms of kill power than pure light. Now we can actually go back to playing, and then as stated before, this does not require, the second skill technically doesn't require you to be in final rush, but to be honest, like, why are you calling things early?
Yeah, you won't want to risk Lenard being out on the field earlier, because, you know, if he dies, then, you know, I know we can't say
so
it's okay.
It's a very strong card. He's strongest card in this deck.
Yes.
He's still stronger than Julian, because, you know, Julian requires a CB, he doesn't require a CB, so...
And he has shield! He can protect you.
It's fucking shield. Okay, you know what? You know, speaking of shield, let's talk about a new addition to this deck that we did not discuss before, and you're asking, why do I own 1 SP? Or, you know, the dealer gave me an SP for fun.
What a nice guy.
So we have the Diablo. I forgot what his subtitle is, but you know, Derek is the Derek. It's a very strong card. Continuous. If you are in Final Rush, gains 5. Now I think this is a trend with Great Tree Bruce cards. Like, you know, first we have Eden, you know, gains 5.
Diablo's Returner.
Diablo's Returner, Derek. So you know, like, you know, I think it's a trend that every time
there's a
every time Bruce gets a new grade 2 triple rare,
yes,
they always have the ability that
if you have Final Rush
gain 5. You know,
I mean it's the same with like Ophisto. Ophisto has a constant trend where if you're a Dark Knight gain 2, if you're Abyssal Dark Knight gain 5. So like,
yeah, you know, I mean, you know, history likes to repeat itself. And you know, I mean, you know, we're not complaining. Magic numbers are always good. So, you know, we're not complaining. We're definitely not complaining.
we are not complaining.
And also, his second ability is the reason why he's really played. So once per turn, act Counter Blast 1, choose one of your rear guards and you put it into your soul.
Yes.
For every 4 soul that you have, you choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So, you know, you saw the anime, you know, you should remember what you should remember, that this is, you know, how you fight Gravidia. You can destroy cards. And also, for every open rear guard circle that your opponent has, so yes, you know, we are finally playing Eugene in Dark States.
Yeah.
You look at the top cards here that equal to the number of open rear guard circles that your opponent has if you're in Final Rush.
If you're in Final Rush.
And then I think this also requires you to have a Bruce Vanguard.
Does it?
The Great Tree Bruce, if I am not mistaken. But mainly
No, it doesn't.
It just requires you to be Final
just Final Rush. So you can actually place in Grade 4 too.
yeah, but you know, as stated before, you don't have the counter.
You don't have the counter.
But this is also the way that you can counter decks that really punch you in the face with control. And,
this is how you stop people from countering.
Yeah, you know, Gravidia, Eugene, you know, Balsagra, any Eva, even if you want to count that as a controller.
WGP.
Yeah, WGP.
I mean, realistically speaking, when Derek came out, they were saying, you know, Bruce is the best, because now if you want to counterplay Lenard, you can't. And we are still repeating this to this day, in the sense that now that we now have gone even faster with Great Tree Bruce, we might as well play the more dangerous core that was introduced to us by the end of 2021, which is the combination of these 2 cards. Now, realistically speaking, is Derek a good card?
No.
Now, not so much.
No.
But the fact still remains that he fills a niche that is still
uncontested.
Uncontested in the sense
but
that,
he's there mainly in the event that you really do break out of your mind and you have an actual out. Because if this deck does not see Dao should not be named, or Julian, you're dead. This deck, you're completely dead. So you need Derek at 4, or you know, you can even play 3 if you're feeling more brave. Yeah, you know, 4 cards, the 3 of course that's in hand. Lol.
Okay.
And is that so to help you unbrick yourself, you know, you can just call stuff. Oh, you know, I think I didn't explain the end of Derek.
You did?
So Derek's entire skill is that, okay, so Counter Blast 1, choose one of your rear guards, you put it into your soul. For every 4, you retire one of your opponent's rear guards. And then you look at the top card of that equal to the number of open rear guard circles on your opponent's side of the field, and you call them to rear guard circle or put them into your soul. So no, you cannot stack the top of your deck, no, you cannot shuffle the deck. Bruce does not shuffle the deck.
Bruce does not shuffle the deck.
Yes. So, you know, like I said, you play it to unbrick yourself, you play it to find out who shall not be named, or Julian. And other than that, it's a dead card using for package shield.
I think the brain rot is affecting your head. We finished that just now.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to our grade ones. It's all laid out. Yes, 4 PG, 1 Steve for the right deck, 4 Proto Bulk, and 4 Dober.
Yeah, so Steve is
right
mandatory.
deck, yeah.
He's 13k booster. PG is PG. Please get the reprint one.
Please get nicer art. So.
Yeah, please get the reprint one. The old art is pretty shit.
Yep, pretty nice.
Dober is really here. He's been here since
He's been here since the last level.
He's been in and out of this deck since set 2 together with Dao shall not be named. Many,
no,
you know,
but
I think
has always stayed.
most people. He came together with Dao shall not be named. Mainly the reason why is that he clears. He's a back row that clears himself, as well as he also gives your Julian or Dao shall not be named 10,000 power.
Yeah,
so,
which is really good.
So so this is the realization that I came to like after a while is that I know how I said that Pandemonium and Hellblast Full Dive is not as strong. Okay, so here's Hellblast Full Dive for reference. Hellblast Full Dive, these two basically only give power to the units that are on the board, whereas Persona Right is continuous front row gain 10. So one is obviously better than the other, but Dober can help you circumvent that in the sense that the unit that is caught after they are put into Soul and caught out of Soul will lose the 10k. Dober can give them back the
10k, so they can continue to.
And also he recycles himself back into Soul.
And then you can call it back
out. You can call it out again without shall not be named, because you can only use Julian once per turn.
Yes.
Yeah. So Dober is a mainstay in this deck. Mainly for those 3 reasons: that he clears himself, gives power, and he's a good booster. This deck needs boosters because your rear guards gain 5. No, your rear guards gain 5 to the 15, so they need an AK booster in order to hit my
23.
So, yeah, and then of course we have the best card in this deck that for some reason nobody values as much as I do. Proto Bulk.
Just because Soul charges the OT as well.
Is disgusting. I don't know why this card is a rare. This card deserves to be a triple rare at this point.
Should be banned.
At the end of the when it boosts, so I think we got this ruling wrong in our previous video. When super long, like many moons ago, I think we did say something wrong with this card.
Oh, we did. Okay, let's say the right thing now then.
When it boosts, if you're in Final Rush,
yes,
you choose one of your rear guards you put into the Soul.
Yes. And
then for Counter Blast 1, you choose a card in your Soul and you add it back into your hand. So this is how we say we can recycle your OT that you Soul Charge. You can recycle your PGs that you Soul Charge. You can recycle your Persona Rights that is in your Soul. Anything that you want from your Soul, you can take it out and you can use it during your opponent's turn, or you can loop your Persona Rights. Anything. And note how I say that it puts one of your rear guards into Soul. Yes, you know what that means? It means that when it boosts, you can put the card in the other column that you just attacked with into your Soul, and then either you use Dao who shall not be named, or you can use Julian. You put the K in the wrong order, but it's fine. So Julian, if it boosts, this goes into Soul. Then this one gives CB1. You call it again. So if you are wondering how this combo works, this is basically it. This is how you get 6 attacks. Or 7, or you have another one, you can do it again, 7 attacks.
That's assuming you have the amount of counter blast that we think you do, but
okay, this combo needs if you're using Dao shall not be named together with Julian, you need 3 CV. Because you need 2 CV for each Proto Bulk.
Yep.
You need 1 CV per Proto Bulk and you need 1 for Julian.
Yep.
So and if you use Pandemonium, you're at 4 CV. You're at 4 CV. So
just I would say Proto Bulk is the one that really rewards you in pacing your resources, especially Counter Blast. Because Counter Blast, you are competing with Julian, you are competing with your Pandemonium, which is not as bad as Grade 4 Bruce. Grade 4 Bruce is, wow, that's a whole different ball game. Yeah. But in Grade 3 Bruce, it has much lesser competition, but timing it is much important. If you whiff it, in a sense, especially for Proto Bulk, if you use it wrongly, you're not going to be able to get as much as you would if you had used it, say, later or even another turn. So yeah, just keep in mind that the Counter Blast, for the more excessive parts of Counter Blast, it usually falls to Proto Bulk, who is consuming all the Counter Blast.
Yeah, so that's mainly the game plan that this deck wants to go for. If you see your Proto Bulk in your Soul, or as long as you have 1 in hand, right, you're basically destined to win the game at this point, because you can then that's your main avenue to multi attack. All right, I think we have gone very extensively into the options that we have played in this deck.
Yes.
But yeah, we're about to finish up.
Yep.
So now we're going to our trigger. I think this one should be no surprise. We play 8 crit.
Great zeros. We play
8 crit.
8 crit for heal.
For heal. 3 draw.
3 draw.
And 1 Government Gate.
1. Yeah.
So Government Gate. is mainly here to flex on people because it's finally been reprinted. I can finally afford this card. If you want to
It's
play,
also a good card.
if you want to play the Crate Elemental OT, you are perfectly fine. Like I said in the past two videos that we've done, in the past two videos that we've done on Bruce, Galamin Geek is Obaria is perfectly fine. In fact, he is the best OT to play in this deck. But I mainly am just playing Galamingi because I can finally afford him, and it's just to scare people. But if you want to play Obalia, you most certainly can. He's the best. He's the best option. You play draws because it's a pitch reliant deck, but you don't play too many draws because you're gonna deck yourself out.
Play the effect draws if you can.
Oh yeah, play the effect draws if you can. If you can afford $8 for freaking rare, then that's fine. Play your heals, counter heals.
It's fine, but you can play.
Counter heals depends on whether the people in your locals like love to play Eva or play Piola. I don't know.
Eva.
Yeah, actually, Eva is the main. Actually, to be honest, Eva is one of the main reasons why you play counter heals.
Different fight.
Then you play A crit because unlike playing France, it doesn't require you can actually pressure your opponent on early game. I realized my mistake of playing France was that they do nothing before turn 4, and by the time you hit turn 4, you've already gone through all of them, and then you can't even use them anymore. So
just play crits, man.
Just play crits. Pressure your opponent. Alright, and now we shall go into options that I think most people are probably going to be asking me for. Which is, where is Marjorie? Here is Marjorie. Here is Hellblast Dive. And here is Regina. I think Regina will go through first because I think most people probably forgot about her. Regina is not used in this deck mainly because we need CB as well as we also need cards in hand. Because this deck doesn't really have the same problems that Grade 4 Bruce has, where it's basically like you have multiple ways to build your board. This main Grade 3 Bruce plays are always gonna end up the spot is the same no matter what.
Yeah, and
it's gonna end with a two Proto Bulk and one Julian and one Dao Shan. So Regina is there to unbrick you in the sense that it basically lets you also toolbox your entire soul and gives everything 10k. Yeah. But as well as also it gives yourself 10k. It's a decent booster. But you think about it, the great ones that we play in this deck already feel that requirement to a T.
Which is Proto Bulk and Double.
So Regina is good in Grade 4 Bruce, and in Grade 3 Bruce is fine, but in the variant that we are playing,
we don't need it.
Yeah, if you want to play Regina, I would recommend that you play cards like, Eden. Eden for the extra crit, so your column is a lot bigger. You can play stuff like Quan Lu for the guard restrict. You can also play, I think also we got a card in Dbt02 that gives a rearguard sentinel restrict, if I'm not wrong.
We do?
Yeah, we did. For final rush sentinel restrict.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah, so that Regina excels excellently in any fire attack Bruce deck because it's a gigantic booster. It's an 18k booster.
Yeah,
and also it lets you toolbox your entire soul.
Yeah.
For souling into. So in the end, actually can technically work in case you want to toolbox your soul for the battle phase.
Yeah.
So you can set up having Julians and Proto Bulks in your soul that you can call them out later. But it's too much hassle for the amount of CV and amount of work you have to go through.
Yeah. But yeah, it is an option.
Yeah, so Regina is a fine option. As for Marjorie, she's been the MVP since set 1, but with the amount of Grade 3 support that we have gotten this set,
really it was Julian that cemented her place out of it.
Yeah,
it was Julian.
But don't discount the fact that Marjorie is a fantastic card.
Yes.
Because she not only is a
generic
final rush card, so you can play her in Grade 4 Bruce, even though you most probably won't deck out if you use her. She helps you draw, she helps you +1, she helps you clear front row.
Yep.
And she also helps you soul in for 0 counter blast.
And draw!
Yeah. I already mentioned the draw part.
Okay.
Yeah, but she's basically an all-around fantastic card. But there is no space for her.
There's no space, yeah.
Which is really sad because I really do like her art. And I really do think that, she has helped me so much in this deck for so long. But unfortunately, it is our time to go because, we have... And if you're wondering, then how do you soul charge? Right? We have, our favorite card. Pandemonium Tactics.
And Pandemonium Tactics leads you directly
and that segues into the order argument.
Yep.
Which is that we have 2 orders that practically do the same thing, except one of them is clearly better than the other at this point, which has Hellblast Full Dive.
What does it do?
Counterblast 1, pay for Counterblast 1, you draw a card, call a card, and your whole front row gains 10k. So if that sounds familiar, yeah, it's basically the same card. But it also lets you do a mini Sagramore or a mini Melty in the fact that you get to draw and call first rather than you draw after you've already given your front row power. So that's one of the benefits of Hellblast Full Dive. But the main reason why we are playing Pandemonium is because of the Soul Charge 4.
Yeah, the Soul Charge 4 really changes
That
so much.
basically
for the
means
deck.
that we don't have to play any more Soul Charge card. We don't have to play Acrobat Presenter to deck us out. We don't have to play Marjorie to deck us out. We can just have the Soul Charge. We basically live on the edge of living or dying. So, you know, against, and also, but against Pure Light, you know, we can just like manage our soul better. And Pandemonium gives us a lot of leeway into that, whereas Hellblast who die is just for power.
Power.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That is every. Oh yeah, I know. Also, like for the two people in the comments that probably gonna ask us, oh, why don't you play the counter charge order?
Why? And that wraps up our Diablo's Violence Bruce Grade 3 deck profile. Really, there's a lot that we have said here that really encompasses our entire thoughts on the deck, as well as how we compare it to Grade 4 Bruce. Really, you can play whatever you want. It's really quite okay. Bruce has such an astonishingly big and strong card pool that you can really innovate and try. Even for this Grade 3 style deck, you can even try the other options that were stated in alternatives, in stuff like your Quenlu, your Sentinel Restrict. They're all super viable and still really okay. And no matter what variant of Bruce you're building, as long as it's not a $5 or 300 yen start deck, you generally will be getting decent results. Most of these cards are not too expensive in rarity wise, with the exception of Julian is not that bad still. He's still about 400, 500 yen.
500 yen.
Yeah, so he's still fine. Leonard, yeah, he's always going to be the same. And you know what? It's fine because we don't have a 5,000 yen triple rare. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
My throat hurts, but Final Rush is fun.